Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Azulan once again. Thank you so much for coming around, and if this is your first time of coming across my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much. So for today's tutorial, I'll quickly share with you how to make a simple shift dress for a 9-year-old baby girl. So if you're interested, keep on watching. By marking out the necessary measurement, I have my pattern paper here. Okay, so now I am going to make this dress as free as possible. You can decide how fitted you would want yours to be, but for mine I want it to be very free. So the length I'll be working with is 32, but I'll be using 5 inches for the ruffles. So I'll minus 32 from 5 and I'll have 27 inches plus 1 inch for my sewing allowance. That is 28 inches. So I have 28 inches already here, as you can see on my paper. So I'm going to start by marking out the shoulder measurement, which is 6.5. So I'm going to mark out 6.5. And then I'll mark out 1/4 inch for my sewing allowance, which is here. Okay. Then now I'm going to mark out the armhole measurement. I'll be making this 7¼ because I want this to be very free. Okay, so this is 7¼ here. And then I'm going to connect that to a straight line. Okay, on this line I'm going to mark whatever I did here. I'm going to repeat the same here. So this is 6.5 plus 1/4 inch, that is 6¾ and then I'll connect. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to mark out the neck width and the neck depth. So I'll be using 2¾ for both. So this is 2¾ here. You can decide how free you want the neckline to be. Okay, so this is 2¾ and then I'll connect. So now I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch for the shoulder slope and then I'll connect. So now I'm going to check what I have here to get the midpoint. So here I have 6¾ Okay, so that will give me, I'm going to fold this way to get the midpoint. So that is the midpoint there. I'm going to mark that point. And then on that point, I'll go in by 1/2 inch. Remember, I'll be adding a sleeve to this dress. So here now I'm going to mark out the chest measurement, which is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches. So this is 8 inches here. Okay, and I'm going to add 1 inch for ease. Remember I said it's a free dress, and then 3/4 for my sewing allowance. Okay, so I'm going to connect. So this is it after connecting it now. Now the next thing to do is to mark out the hip line from the shoulder, which is 21. So here is 21. Remember, the waist measurement is not needed because it's a free dress. So this is 21. I'm going to mark that and connect it to a straight line. So after doing that now, I am going to mark the hip measurement here. The hip measurement is 33 inches. So the hip measurement is 33 inches. So 33 divided by 4 will give me 8¼ So this is 8¼ here. And then I'm going to add 1 inch for ease, and then 3/4 for my sewing allowance. Okay, so whatever I have here now, I'll bring it to this down part. Okay, so I'll check what I have here all together. It's 10. So I'm going to bring it down here. Okay, so that is how simple it is. I'm going to connect the lines now, or rather the points, and then we'll cut out on the fabric that you're working with. Okay, so this is how you go about the front. Now you can see how it is. Now for the back pattern, you can decide what you want to use as the neck width. So here now I'll just connect it back to this line. Okay, I believe by now you should know how to do this, or you know the reason why I am connecting it straight. So this is for the back. Now on this part I am going to mark 1/2 inch for the neck depth for the back pattern, and then I'll connect. It's just as simple as that. I'm going to open it up because I have my 1 inch for zipper allowance already. So now I'll connect this now, and then we'll cut. Okay, so I'll start by cutting the back. Start by cutting out the back on my fabric, and then after which I'll remove this 1 inch for the zipper and then cut out the front. Okay, I believe you know how to do that. So let me just do all the cutting and then we'll start the sewing. As you can see, I have the front and the back already cut out. So now I am going to cut out the sleeve that I'll be using for this. Sleeve, here I have the length I want the sleeve to be. I would like mine to be 8 plus 1 inch for my sewing allowance, making it 9 inches. Okay, so this line is just my starting point, nothing much. And this one also is to give me extra space in case I need to add more to the sleeve. So all the measurements will start or end on this line. So now the next thing to do is to mark out the armhole measurement, which is 7¼ Remember, that is what we used. So this is 7¼ I'm going to connect that to a straight line. And then I'll connect. Okay, now the round the sleeve measurement is 10 inches. So I'm going to mark out 10 inches on this line now. So this is 10 inches. And then I'm going to connect. Okay, so now I'm going to divide this into 2. This is 5 here. This here is also 5, and then I'm going to connect. So now I'm going to check whatever I have here. I'll divide into 3 and mark the points. So as you can see, I have them all marked out. So now the next thing to do is this is the center line, is to draw a triangle from that. Okay, and I'll also do the same on this other side. So after connecting it, this is what I have. So now on this point here, I'm going to mark out 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to mark 1/2 inch here, and I'll mark the same here as well. Okay, on this other point now, I'm going to mark out 3/4, which is here. Okay, you can also watch my video on how to draft a basic sleeve for you to see step by step on how to go all about that. So I'm going to connect this now and then add extra 3/4 inch to this to enable me pleat, because I'll add a little pleat on the sleeve. Okay, this part you can also use your free hand to connect that. Okay, so now this is it. So this center line, I will bring it down. Okay, so whatever you have now as the round the sleeve, you can now add it on this part. So now this part, now I'm going to add the extra 1/2 inch all round to enable me do a little pleat. Okay, you can also use 1/4 inch. It's up to you how you want the sleeve to be. So I'm going to add following that line. So I'll just add it all the way around, and then I'll just cut it out. So this is what I have after cutting it out now. So I'm going to take this now and place it on my fabric, and then I'll cut before we start sewing. Everything is out now except for the ruffle side. I'll be cutting that out later. So I'll start sewing the shoulders together before I'll use this now to cut out my interfacing or whatever thing you want to use to line the neck line and the armhole area. So I'm going to start by sewing the shoulders together. So after joining the shoulders together, this is what I have. This is the back. So now I'm going to straighten up this and check what I have here. Then I'll cut that out to use as my interfacing. So here I have, this is 18. So I'm going to cut out 18 inches as my interfacing. So here I have 18 inches. As you can see, I just cut that out. And this is by 1.5, as you can see. So I'm going to take this now and sew on the neckline. Okay, so this is the neckline. I am going to take this now and then I will sew it at the wrong side first before I will now turn it over like this and then sew, bring it to the right or the front side this way. So I'm going to do that and run it to the other end. So this is what I have after sewing the neckline. As you can see, I just folded it now to the front and I run a straight stitch down to this other end. So now I am going to close the sides together using whatever seam that you left for your sewing allowance. I'm going to use that now to close the sides. So after closing the sides, this is what it looks like, and as you can see, the zipper side is still open. Okay, so now I'm going to check what I have now from this point to the other end so that I'll know what to cut out to use as a ruffle or the frill to this down part. So I'm going to check now. Here I have 43 inches, as you can see. So now on this part you can decide how light or full you want the ruffles to be. So now since I have 43, I am going to multiply this by 2 because I don't want it that much. So if you multiply that, 43 into 2 is 86. So I'm going to cut 86 inches by 5. Remember, that is what I minus from the full length. So I'm going to cut that out and then I'll add my 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So this is it here. I decided to multiply into 3 so that I don't waste my fabric, because if I multiply into 2 I'll have a little fabric left out, so I don't want to waste any. I will just add it and join to the dress. So this is it now. I am going to join it together and use my gather stitch and then run it, then gather it very well and sew it on the down part of that dress. So this is it after folding this part, and I just use the gather stitch to run it like I said. So now I'm going to pull this and gather it together until I have the 43 inches, which is what we measured from the down part of the dress. So I'm going to pull until I have that 43 inches. So here I have the 43 inches after gathering it. So now I'm going to take this down part and then I'll be taking this now and sew on this down part. As I am sewing, I will keep on adjusting the gathers so that it will be the way I want it to be. So I'm going to take this now and sew it all the way down to the other end before closing the zipper side. So this is what I have after joining it on this part, as you can see, and I used the 1 inch that I left for zipper allowance to close it up, leaving the space for the zipper. Now for the space for the zipper, for this the hip line is 21 inches, so I just came up by 3 inches. Okay, that is where I left for the zipper allowance. You can decide how you want yours to be. So now this is it. I'm going to add a little pleat, like I said, to the sleeve on this part, just a little, and then I'll just join it on the sleeve area, and then I'll add my zipper and show you the final look of this simple dress. So this is what the dress looks like after joining the sleeve. As you can see, now I am just left to give it a good press and we are good to go. Now you can see that you can actually make this in 20 minutes. So this is how easy and simple it is to make this beautiful dress. So please try yours and let me know how yours turned out to be. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you'll be the first to know anytime I post a video. So guys, I'll see you soon.